Poggies. Would get again. Meh. Would refund Omega regret. The would refund category is characters that I don't necessarily regret getting, but that I wouldn't use anymore, and I like if I was offered the option to refund them, I would take it. Okay, we'll only do limited 5-star characters. So it starts with Venti. We'll get again. For sure. For sure we'll get again. Child is actually really interesting. I think Child goes in would refund. I've had a lot of fun with Child over the years, but if I could get my primos back for him now, I probably would. I've burnt out of Child after like 2.5 years of international. I'm tired of him. Sucrose National is more fun anyways. Zhongli probably goes in would get again. Honestly, I mean obviously I regret getting C1, but that was also an accident. If I lost Zhongli from my account, I don't think I'd pull for him again. I don't think there's any team where I feel like I would need to use him. But having him available when I just want to play whatever on a side, so I can test on the other side, or when I want to showcase a mechanic against Primo Bishop, and I don't want to have to fucking focus on dodging the attacks and stuff like that, is still like valuable, and I would not want to refund him if I was given the option. I'd refund a C1 for sure, but Charlie as a whole, yeah. Did you mean to skip Klee? Yeah, because I don't have Klee, so I don't have thoughts on whether I regret getting her, because I didn't get her. Albedo! I don't know if I would refund Albedo. I don't think so. Like, if I think about it logically, would I refund Albedo so I can go for Chiori instead? Probably. But, like, I don't feel very strongly about it. I'm not unhappy I have Albedo on my account, you know? And I do use him sometimes. And the people that ask me to play fucking Shat Beto aren't actually serious, whereas the people that fucking bother me and keep telling me that I should play international, those people are serious. So they're a lot more annoying. Ciao! I can't believe I'm about to do this. Don't send this to Nick. But Xiao goes in Poggies. Pre-Xianyun, Xiao would have gone here. But Xianyun has made Xiao actually feel kind of fun to play for me. Actually, I don't know if it's Xianyun or Farazan, because I got both of them at around the same time. It's probably more Farazan than Xianyun, but yeah. Hu Tao! Hu Tao goes in would refund. I got Hu Tao, and I triple crowned her just so I could feel more confident in saying that Xiangling was the GOAT. But like, it's been a long time now, and I barely play her anymore. So like, if I could refund her, I would. Kazuha! Kazuha probably goes in Poggies. The main argument against putting him in Poggies would be that while I do use Kazuha a lot, if I didn't have him, I don't feel like I'd miss him that much. Like, the main reason I use Kazuha over Sucrose is because in Abyss, it's really annoying to scroll up and down over and over again to pick characters, and Kazuha's at the top, so I don't have to scroll to click on him. I can do this. Like, that's unironically the main reason why I use him more than Sucrose. Like, if it was preset teams, would you use Sucrose more? Probably, yeah. I probably would. If you could actually use your presets in Abyss, like just load them in, I would use Sucrose a lot more. But I do use him a lot. So, he'd probably be towards the bottom of Poggies. But I think it's fine to put him in Poggies. Alright, Yoimiya is an Omega regret. I don't know if it's fair to put her there because I didn't get her intentionally. The only positive that has come out of me getting Yoimiya is that it's funny. Once every like 3 to 4 weeks, I give in to people that ask me to play Yoimiya. I play Yoimiya. It feels like shit and I get to complain about Yoimiya. And it's funny and it's good content, but like, it's not enough to justify the cost. Anyways, Raiden. Raiden goes in Poggies for sure. I don't really play Raiden with her burst anymore, but Raiden Hyper Bloom and recently Raiden in Chevreuse teams is actually my GOAT. So yeah, it's a lot of 5 stars that I didn't get in a row, huh? Ayato. I would refund Ayato, I think. Yeah, I would definitely refund Ayato if I could. But I think pretty much everyone who has Ayato would refund Ayato. So I don't think I need to say anything. Yelan! Meh. Yelan goes in meh, maybe above Albedo though. I don't really play Yelan anymore. I think I play Yelan more in Double Hydro Hyperloom than every other team combined, and I don't even play Double Hydro Hyperloom very often anymore. Spoken like a true Sing-Song laser, true. Double Hydro died in Sumeru. I wouldn't say that's true. Double Hydro Hyperbloom is very good, and a Double Hydro Core with Farina is good in a lot of Fontaine teams. The thing is, I tend to almost always gravitate towards Singto Farina over Yelan Farina if I'm playing Double Hydro. And like for Fontaine units. Because Singto's just too comfortable. Wouldn't you refund her? I don't think I would, no. Because I do still use her sometimes. And having her available for team options is also nice because it lets me test. It lets me test teams with her. And I have Elegy, which is another nice thing with her. Because it makes potential speedruns better with her. Sino! I would refund Sino. I had a lot of fun with Sino when he came out, I will say. I really did, but... And so I'm not going to put him on Omega Regret. A lot of the fun from Sino was just from the fact that he was the only... Well, not the only, but he had an interesting position in the character roster as an electro carry that was focused around Dendro. But I don't really use him anymore, so if I could refund him, I would. Nahida. Nahida goes in Poggies for sure. Daya. And Daya's going to be the only standard character here because I did actually get Daya from the limited Daya banner and not from the standard banner. I actually have never lost a 50-50 to Daya or gotten her from standard wishes. I would get her again in a heartbeat. No doubt about it. If not only has Daya been the character with whom I had the most fun on release, because one, it was just kind of fun to do dog shit speedruns with Daya carry, but two, it was so fucking funny realizing just how bad she was and how there were a lot of issues that I didn't even realize were going to be issues in my pre-release, in which I already said that she was going to be dog shit. Like, that was really fun. It was a great time. It was a great patch. Like, it was a great first day testing. Yeah, so not only that, but also now she's actually used in a decent amount of teams, and like, I'm glad I have her for those teams. Baiju, I would get again. I don't think he breaks into Poggies, but I got Baiju on his rerun, and I'm glad I did. I do think I didn't really miss out on much not getting him on his first run, because I do think that pre-Farina, Baiju wasn't that valuable of a character, but I'm glad I got him on his rerun. Linny goes in would refund. I don't regret getting Linny, because I feel like 4.0 would have been way too stale if I didn't. But like, if any other character had been released in 4.0, I would have gotten them. If Chiori had been released in 4.0, I would have gotten her. Like, it was more so a dry patch moment than a Linny Pog moment. But if I could refund him now, I would. Neuvillette. This may come as a surprise for some of you, but Neuvillette is not going to make it into Poggies. I use Neuvillette a lot, mainly because I know he's always built, at least to some extent. But he really is a boring character to play. Farina would get again, for sure. Doesn't make it into Poggies, but I would get her again. Xianyun probably makes it into Poggies. Actually, does she? Maybe not. Maybe she doesn't. Yeah, actually, I'll leave her in here. Arlecchino. Definitely Poggies. Arlecchino is my GOAT. If I was forced into only playing one carry for the rest of my life, and it had to be a character that was like unequivocally a carry, right? So not allowed to choose Xiangling or Xingqiu as my option. It would probably be Arlecchino. I find it unfortunate how her characterization in her story quest humanized her in a way that was a bit unnecessary in my eyes. I liked Arlecchino more before we knew more about her. I really liked the idea of Arlecchino as a character who is an evil bitch, but doesn't just want her whole fucking native country. How do you say it? The country where she was born, whatever. Her whole ass fucking country of origin to get sunk and everyone to die. Like I liked Homeland, yeah. I liked the idea of a villain that wasn't just evil for the sake of evil. Yeah, evil but rational. Like clearly had motivations that were not very poggers, but wasn't just like reveling in people's suffering, right? And I feel like they humanized her a bit too much in her story quest, and I thought she became a lot less interesting because of that. It was that specific theme where it's perfectly fine to see her human side, but I don't think it was necessary to show us her human side. Like, I feel like it was better left implied. Not every aspect of a character has to be actively shown, and sometimes an aspect of a character intentionally being withheld can achieve the same effect in a more powerful way. I think they explored her motivations too much. I don't think it was necessary. But like, I don't know, the characterization of Arlecchino in the Archon quest was so good. Because in all of her interactions, she felt threatening but dignified. The only actual act of violence that she commits in the Archon quest is almost killing Farina, but she doesn't actually even do anything. And it's in a flashback. But her presence still feels threatening. And Arlecchino's characterization in her story quest felt so much weaker to me. She lost her aura? Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much, she lost her aura. Even after her story quest, I still think she's one of the best Hoyo characters. But before her story quest, I thought she was the best. And now I don't feel like I can say that with confidence anymore. Who is the best one? I'm not sure. It's a difficult question. The main issue is that Genshin writing is very inconsistent in both the nature of the characters in stories and in the quality of those stories. Which means that, as a general rule, the more often a character is present in stories, the more I'm going to dislike them, because they're either going to have inconsistent characterization, or they're going to be part of a shit story that makes them boring. So as a general rule, in my eyes, the characters that aren't used too much tend to be more compelling. Like Gaming. I think Gaming is a very compelling character. I like him quite a bit. Anyways. Chlorine is going to go in Omega Regret. I had like 5 minutes of fun with her. Just no. Not worth it. Would not recommend. Emily. Right now she's in here, but I think eventually she's gonna go down to meh. She just... I think that Emily has a problem of special effects. Like, both sound effects and visual effects are just so subtle. And I feel like it doesn't really work for a character like her. Because you want to play her in burning teams, but because burning does damage every 0.25 seconds, there's already a lot of numbers on screen, so her numbers stand out less. And then on top of that, both her visual effects and her sound effects are like incredibly subtle. And so even when she's actually doing something, it never feels like she's doing anything, which I really don't like. Milani would get again. I like Milani. Milani Pog. Kanich, Poggies. And finally, Shilonen, probably Poggy. Probably would get again. I don't think it makes it into Poggies. Let's try to order them within each tier. They is still my goat. Arlecchino, yeah. Here, that's fine. If you were to ask me which one I enjoy playing the most right now, it would probably be Kanich out of, like, these three. But that's mostly just because he's still new and fresh. I expect him to settle around here. Probably Raiden above Shao. Probably Nahida above Kazuha. Here, probably Venti first. Then Milani. Then Shilonen. No, then Farina. Then Shilonen. Probably something like this. Probably this. Alright, that's probably the right order. How about characters you regret not getting? I'll order the characters I didn't get from most wanted to least wanted. But let's put all of them together. I thought he was limited. Yeah, but I didn't get him and then I got him on standard. So I'm not going to include him. Because I didn't pull for him on a limited banner. And it's not a character I could consider getting now. Because I have him. So I'm just gonna, yeah. Okay. Who is the character I would want the most out of these? That's difficult. Probably Risley. Risley's not the best character here, but he's probably the one I would want the most out of these. I like Risley. Risley's VA is one of the few that I actually noticed. I feel like a lot of the time voice acting, whether it's in anime or games, feels incredibly stiff in a way where, like, it doesn't feel like these are characters talking to one another. It's like you can tell that they were voice lines recorded individually. It doesn't feel like a conversation. And Risley's VA manages to not necessarily completely fix that, but improve it at the very least. I think Risley is the character whose voice acting I like the most. On top of that, I think it would be nice to have at least one proper cryo carry, not just like Kea, which isn't really a carry. Like, you can play him in quick swap team, but his personal DPS isn't really high enough to justify calling him a carry. So having at least one cryo carry would be nice. Might as well get Ayaka. No, if I had to choose between the two, I would 100% get Risley. Not even close. Because I'd probably play both of them in Hyperloom anyways, and I'd rather play Risley in Hyperloom than Ayaka. Anyways, next would probably be Navia. Navia's kind of pog. I don't think I'll get her, but like if she was on a banner with really good 4 stars, I'd consider it. Navia's a character that has pretty okay gameplay, but I don't really like her personality very much. Like I look relatively favorably upon her value as a unit, but I'm not too big of a fan of her character. She fell off, okay? Navia was interesting because of her interactions with Silver and Milus, and them dying has made me lose any and all interest I had in her. It's just, they ruined her. Like, her characterization and just her presence was so much more interesting with Milus and Silver. And if they never showed us that, then I would have been fine with it, because, like, she's not the first character with a boring whatever personality. But now, every time she comes on screen, I remember, oh yeah, Silver and Milus could have been here. And they don't really make up for it in a way that I find interesting. Like, they should have killed off only one of them. I understand the value from a storytelling perspective of killing off one of the characters you're like slightly attached to so that you can share in her grief, so that the grief isn't like just, ooh, random NPC we've never met died, why should we care? Like, I get why they felt like they had to kill them off, but I feel like killing off both of them just made her too boring. Silver or Milus? I think they should have killed off Milus and kept Silver alive. I think Milus was a more interesting character, but I think that he didn't really have anywhere to go from there. Silver's death wouldn't make for an interesting character arc for Milus, but Milus's death would have made for an interesting character arc for Silver. I agree with you guys that Milus is the better one of the two, but that's why Silver is the one who should have survived. I hate that you're right. I know. Why, where's my job offer? Huh? Which one is Silver? Silver is the one who with the glasses. Milus is the old one. But it just feels like a mob boss who doesn't have like quirky underlings to like banter with. You're missing something. You need to have an underling. Kind of feels like Milus is a mentor to Silver, and if Milus died, Silver would get some character development of having to step up. Yeah, like that's pretty much what I would have liked to see. Anyways, after Navia, who would be next? Nilo. I don't like Nilo, but like having her to test shit would be fine. I wouldn't hate the idea. I don't know. Is that because you actually kind of like her design, or because everyone else sucks? I mean, I have almost 70,000 Primo Gems. If there's a character I really want, I can get them. None of the characters that I don't have, if they got a rerun right now that didn't have like really good 4 stars, I wouldn't get any of them, right? So yeah, it is the other characters not being interesting, but like, yeah. Anyways, Nilo is very uninteresting for me character-wise. Like, I would only get her as a unit. A lot of the characters that I don't have, I have like some thoughts on their characterization and whether it would make me want to play them or not. Like, at the end of the day, it still has some effect, even if it's not the main thing I care about. But with Nilo, it's like, she doesn't have a character. She doesn't have a personality. I have nothing to say. Literally nothing. Literally nothing. Ugh. Next would probably be Ito. Especially now that Chilonen has come out, I actually would kind of like to get Ito. Ito's probably going to be on a Goro banner. I do kind of want to get Goro cons. If the 4 stars on the banner are good, I might actually consider it. But we'll have to see. Come on, give me an Ito with like a Yai banner that has Goro, Chevreuse, Dory. I'll go for that in a heartbeat. In your dreams, yeah, I know. Next, I guess it would probably be Yai. We're starting to get to the point where I would rather... Sorry. All of these characters so far, I would rather have them on my account than the characters that I would refund. Like, if I could trade any of the would refund characters for any of these, I probably would. But we're starting to get to... We'll soon get to the point where I wouldn't trade. I think once we get to the characters that I like even less than the characters I'd refund, I'll make another tier for that. Didn't get, somewhat want. If I had Alhaitham, would I even play him? Probably. Alhaitham can go here. And then probably the last character in this category is going to be Tiori. Didn't get, don't want. The character I would dislike the least here is probably Kokomi. I don't want her. I feel like the only team where I would consider playing Kokomi is Monohydro, and I don't like Monohydro. I think it's a cringe-ass team. So I just don't think I would ever really want Kokomi. Next up is probably Wanderer. I don't really want Wanderer. If I had him, I'd probably play him once in a while, though, like Kokomi. I think his teams are cringe, but... Like, I wouldn't be opposed to the idea of He wouldn't sit on the bench like Yoimiya does. Next is probably Shenhe. The thing with Shenhe is I don't want Shenhe with the units I have, but if I got Risley, Shenhe would be higher, and having her could be useful for future cryo units as well. Does he not have any cryo 5-star? I have Chi-Chi. You count? Next would probably be Sijuin. Just because her burst animation is funny. That's pretty much the only good thing I have to say about her. Her burst animation is funny. But that's enough. Then probably Klee. But I don't see myself playing her much more than Linny, so eh. And then Ayaka. And I need to make another row here just for... Didn't get. Wouldn't even trade Zhongli's C1 for. No, thank you. Is that below Omega? Okay, if we're trying to like look at these, like if we're trying to put the three categories of characters I don't have next to the categories of characters I do have, these characters would probably be around the same level as Meh. These characters would be here, and then these characters would be here. Yeah. I remember you considered C6 Dea. Where would C6 Dea feed? C0 Dea is literally the highest one on the list. So, C6 Dea would just be even higher. Why does he regret Clarin more than Sino? Because, like, if you're asking me who would I rather play right now between Clarin and Sino, I'd rather play Clarin. However, the amount of fun that I had with Sino on his release is more than the amount of fun I'll ever be able to have with... I had a lot of fun with Sino when he was released. I never had fun with Clarin, and I never will have fun with either of them ever again.